We're going to start off with awards. Here's the president and CEO of the League of American Orchestras and a leader in our field. Here to present the Helen M Thompson Award, join me in welcoming Jesse Rosen.
Before I do this, I just want to take a minute to ask you to join me in extending our great appreciation to all the League staff that's been working all year on your behalf, and especially the last few months for this conference. If I could ask all the League staff to stand. Up, come on. Don't be shy. Okay, so now we're going to present the Helen Thompson Award. And some of you may not know who Helen Thompson was. And she was an early leader of the League, an unbelievably iconic force in building not only the League, but really a whole network of arts organizations and really helping to build the infrastructure of the arts in our country. And in her name, and following on her great passion for young people in the field, we award every year an award to either young conductor and in alternate years a young executive director. And this year's awardee is Jennifer Boomgaarden for exceptional leadership, dedication, and accomplishment as executive director of the South Dakota Symphony. And she arrived at the South Dakota Symphony in 2010 at a time where I'm told there was no cash, an accumulated deficit of great proportion, and they were operating at about half the size that they had used to be, so they shrunk. And Jennifer got there, and in a very short amount of time, she led an unbelievable turnaround. And the turnaround was not simply in righting the financial ship, which she did by eliminating the debt, generating surpluses and working capital, but also keeping her eye on the artistic growth and development of the orchestra. So among the things that Jennifer has led since she has been at the South Dakota Symphony, she has returned their family and opera programming. She's added music as medicine, a high school residency, and mentoring programs to the repertoire of orchestra activities. And she's helped articulate a new artistic vision that defines its passions and serves as a living document to guide the SDSO into the future. And under her direction, the orchestra supported the world premieres of 10 commissions, and they were awarded the John S. Edwards Award for Strongest Commitment to New American Music by ASCAP in 2012, and also the Morton Gould Award for Innovative Programming in 2013. Please join me in welcoming Jennifer Boomgaarden. Okay, so it's time for another award. And this is our Gold Baton Award, which, as you know, we give every year. And this is for a person who has demonstrated over a lifetime and a long span of time service and support and loyalty, dedication to orchestras across the country. And I've asked to present that award this year to a leader in our field who also has had a lifetime of great leadership and has contributed enormously to our field through modeling the leadership of one of our great institutions, the Boston Symphony Orchestra. And I'd like to ask Mark Volpe to come to the stage to present this year's Gold Baton.
Thank you, sir. You bet. I've had the pleasure of knowing and working with Anne-Marie for over 18 years now. And now she was just elected as a overseer of the Boston Symphony, so now I'm working for Anne-Marie, technically. But in respect to the field, I think in the 28 years she was at Fidelity. She was not just a trusted advisor and certainly an advocate, but she helped facilitate numerous transformational projects in a variety of orchestras and helped so many other musical organizations. Personally, I've greatly valued her wise advice and support in nearly 20 years. We've worked together. We partner on a whole variety of projects, and we spent actually hours talking about the orchestra field, about music, about certainly the Boston philanthropic community, about Vietnam. Her husband, Lindsay, was the general counsel at Yale, but has recently become a great scholar in Vietnam, so I get periodic reports on his research and what's going on. In respect to her personal commitment, it's always great joy to see her in Symphony Hall and certainly Tanglewood, and she's certainly very effective for a variety of reasons. One is she truly loves and has passion for what we do. She also is very effective because she prior to working at Fidelity had some fairly senior positions at institutions such as Yale University, as well as the New England Conservatory. And at Yale, she was involved with the orchestra, the opera company, chamber music, international touring. She's also been very busy beyond her work at Fidelity. She's had many board roles beyond the BSO, including the American Music Center, certainly the American Composers Orchestra, where she was a trustee. Virgil Thompson, she became a good friend of Virgil at Yale, and in fact, one of his 19 portraits for piano is actually a portrait of Anne-Marie. It's for those of you who don't know the piece, it's the portrait of an incredibly intelligent, attractive, energetic foundation head. Beyond that, she's been an overseer at New England Conservatory. She's been on the advisory board of the BU, Boston University School for the Arts. The French Library, she had a position, I can't pronounce it, so I'm not going to embarrass myself. At Marlborough, she's a trustee, and as I mentioned, at Yale, where she worked, she now has a variety of positions, volunteer positions, but very important volunteer positions, including the School of Music, the Board of Visitors. She certainly had a terrific education, not just at Wellesley College. She did graduate work at Johns Hopkins, where she studied medieval history. Good preparation for this field. And then she got her MBA at UCLA. So I speak on behalf of all of us. It's very much my distinct privilege to award the Gold Baton to Anne-Marie Soullière, great philanthropist, a wonderful friend of music, and a wonderful friend of me personally. So thank you. She just asked me if she gets an orchestra with the baton. She'll have to.
Thank you so much, Jesse, and the League Board and membership for this great honor. And thank you, Mark, for that very generous and humorous introduction. As president of the now 50-year-old Fidelity Foundation, it was my great privilege to work with each of you for over 20 years, personally and through our grants, to support the superior leadership that the two of you are providing at the League, at the Boston Symphony, and in the larger world of serious music across the country and internationally. This has been not only greatly professionally rewarding, but also tremendous personal fun. In our work together, we achieved a very high level of partnership. Our foundation trustees always take an investment approach to the work of the foundation. At the League, we invested in research and new thinking, which has resulted in analytics and tools, which we hope will assist all the member orchestras with strong approaches to the momentous business challenges you all face, strengthening your organizations and infrastructures in order to support your musical and artistic goals. Nothing could be more important. At the BSO, it was our pleasure to assist in making available a wealth of archival material for broadcast and also to support the orchestra's extensive use of technology. I'm delighted that in my retirement, I'm going to be continuing my dialogue with the League, and that I'll also be an overseer at the BSO, as Mark mentioned. I want to thank each of you for that. I'm going to speak only very briefly today, but I'd like to talk just a little bit about the importance of two personal experiences which inspired me musically and professionally early in my career. The first is attendance at my very first symphony orchestra concert. Likely everyone in this room can conjure up their own memory of their own first orchestra concert. For me, it was 1957. I was 10 years old and in the 4th grade at St. Thomas More School in Arlington, Virginia. With my schoolmates, I boarded a bus to Constitution Hall in Washington. Howard Mitchell was conducting. Judith Berganger had just won the Marjorie Merriweather Post piano competition, and she played the Schumann Concerto. I know this because I found her on the internet last week. Being 10 at the time of the performance, my knowledge and memory of repertoire wasn't too good. She kindly reminded me of the program. She's just retired from the piano faculty at Florida Atlantic University. I shared this memory with my husband, who immediately remembered his own first concert, the Honolulu Symphony, after weeks of listening to the Standard School Hour, a broad-ranging music appreciation series that ran from 1928 through the 1970s on NBC's Pacific Radio Network, sponsored by Standard Oil of California. So much has changed in that arena. He listened at Lincoln School in Thomas Square across the street from the Honolulu Art Museum, and it was the start of his lifelong love of music. Why do we and you here today remember these experiences so well? Because they were excellent and exciting, and in my case, because the soloist was a very young artist, someone I could instantly relate to and admire. It was the moment I realized that there was a professional world of music out there, something different from my piano lessons with the nuns, a world where many people were engaged in doing important musical things that came together in a truly magical way. This experience has lived with me daily thereafter in one way or another. It made me know this was a world I wanted to be part of. Now that I'm retired, I can look back and attest to what we in this room all know, that access to the musical arts at a very high level at a very young age is critically important to the inspiration of children and future audiences. The future of the musical arts, in fact, depends on it. I hope that we in the field will always remain committed to making this access possible. The second item I'd like to mention is again something we all know about and which cannot be undervalued. This is mentorship. I was fortunate to have it at every level. Sister Mary Barbara and Klaus Goetze, two of my piano teachers. Philip Nelson, the dean for whom I worked at the Yale School of Music in the 70s. Louis Sudler, chairman of the Chicago Symphony and one of the donors I helped at Yale. John Edwards, the CSO manager who was never without a paperback book in his pocket. The day he showed me what he was reading, it was the Aeneid. Soprano Phyllis Curtin, clarinetist and chamber music coach Keith Wilson, cellist Aldo Paraso, composer and critic Virgil Thompson, violinist and conductor Simon Goldberg, composers Betsy Jolas and Jacob Druckmann, Yehudi Weiner and Krzysztof Penderecki, jazz artists Willie Ruff and Dwight Mitchell, and many others who coached my professional life as I worked with them and for them. They gave me the benefit of their broad and deep experience and their generous advice, and they added immensely to my understanding of what is to be valued in the music profession and what it takes to make and support music at the highest level. In accepting this award, I'm remembering the mentors of 57 years that have passed since that concert in Constitution Hall, and I thank them as well as my present friends and colleagues here today. May we all continue to serve the musical arts and strengthen their future through our work, our ongoing collaboration as friends and colleagues, and as mentors of the next musical generations. Thank you very, very much.